Metals look for direction this Tuesday. Peter Hug is up next. Good to be back with you, Peter.
Nice to be here, Daniela.
Waiting for conviction. What a perfect title to your commentary this morning, Peter. That's exactly the sentiment that we're seeing here on the metals front this Tuesday. Metals looking for some sense of direction as they await that slate of U.S. data set to be released. How do you see it set up, Peter?
Yeah, I mean, we saw the market breach the 200-day moving average last week, and there was some technical selling. There was some support that we anticipated at the 82.92 level, but it breached through there. My key level short term right now is the 12.78 level. It had some issues getting up through that level on the run the first 2 months of the year. So it's still finding some buying interest at 12.78. It still looks heavy. If we lose the 12.78 though, as per my commentary this morning, I think there's a shot that we're going to see 62. Don't think we'll see it today, but 78 needs to hold.
Peter, and we'll talk about silver in a bit, which looks well bid at the 1976 level. But first, let's talk about that data we saw come out from China overnight. China's PMI rose for the first time in 6 months, coming in at 50.3 in March versus 50.2 in February. Peter, however, this failed to move gold. A lot of people were betting on it.
Well, we've seen a drop-off in Chinese physical demand out of our Hong Kong office for the better part of about 3 weeks. Well, not quite 3 weeks, 2 weeks now, ever since gold got up into the high 1300s. We suspected a lot of it had to do with the price appreciation. Chinese tend to be very sensitive to price movements. We thought that we would start to see some renewed demand after gold broke 1300 last week. It still has not materialized, but I would suspect that gold comes down a little bit further from here. There may be an increase again in Chinese physical demand. This is one number out of China. There's a lot of talking heads that still believe that China's got issues ahead. A few others think that the economy has turned. Where I would want to see the action to confirm would be in the copper price, and I think that still has some pressure on it. But if copper starts to turn, then I would be a bit more fundamentally convicted towards gold. Currently, the market still feels heavy to me here.
Also important to note, Peter, is Bloomberg reported that holdings in gold-backed ETPs fell 6.4 metric tons on Monday. That's the biggest drop we've seen since December. So this could be weighing on gold as well.
It's possible. Again, I mean, there could be technical trading coming out of Europe. The Crimean issue is just basically faded away from the news. I mean, there has been some bluster that the Russians have ambitions to look at other Baltic nations. I think that's noise. But once gold broke that 200-day moving average, the Europeans are as smarter than, the traders out of New York. And, they have their technical charts and their support resistance levels. And, a breach of the 200-day moving average, in my opinion, was significant. And it wouldn't surprise me that, some of these large fund holdings started to liquidate or lighten up on their positions once that average was breached.
Let's talk silver now, Peter. On Monday, the metal had bounced 1% against gold on the ratio. It looks well bid at the 1976 level here. Is it better set up than gold this week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to discount the fact that silver doesn't see 1925 if we lose gold at current levels. But if, again, you believe that the economic conditions will indicate a growth coming through spring and into summer, and if you believe that this Chinese PMI number is an indicator of a trend, that we're now turning the corner in China, I would be interested in looking at the industrial metals, again, copper, and to some extent silver. And, with silver below or was below the 65-to-1 ratio to gold, I just thought that silver had overreacted to the downside quicker than gold. And if you wanted a prudent trade without major risk, a long silver short gold trade looked interesting.
Good thoughts, Peter. Thank you. Finally, what are you looking at for the rest of the week?
I need 78 to hold on gold. I think it's possible it will, but if it breaches 78, 62 is my next target. 1255 is my next key target that needs to hold. But I assuming no other news, the 1278, 1292 range coming into the economic numbers by Thursday and Friday probably makes sense. This market doesn't want to aggressively sell, and nor do traders want to be aggressively long. So it's very fickle. So moving $5 one way or another, it seems to be what's going to be happening at least through today and maybe tomorrow. Again, keeping in mind those levels of 78 on the downside and 92 on the upside, which would suggest a test of 1300.
Peter, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you then. Thank you.
And thanks for watching this edition of For Pete's Sake with Peter Hugg. You can email us at newsfeedback@kitco.com. Thanks for watching.